Ask Avani Show, as I mentioned when we went into break, difficulties, technically speaking, happened. Avani is back on the line. And so for those that don't believe still that we are in two different places in two different worlds, yes, Avani is in London right now.
Yes.
And the internet connection went down, but we're back, getting back to normal. And as we are coming back from break, you were listening to some 50 Cent's Hustler's Ambition in honor of the young lady who became a drug king, queen.
Queen Pin, yes, she was called Queen Pin.
And she was a big money maker, and now she is one of the, I guess she's probably a big money maker in the religious space.
Oh, yes, she found a way to bring it back.
And I don't knock her for that. It's like,
basically,
put muscle in the hustle. That is correct.
Right. Absolutely. You have to put muscle in your hustle. People, you are listening to Ask Avani Show. Oh, dear. Today's show just goes to show you, right? You have to do what you need to do. Well, in her mind, she thought that was what she had to do, and yes, she has paid the price for it. And I know that we're going to laugh about a lot of things today because there are some very interesting and infamous characters that I would like to share with you. Some you may have heard of, others you may not have heard of. As I said, I hadn't heard about her until I saw that documentary. So, and in the course of research for the show, I have found, link to K-Rose, 10 most powerful female crime lords, and I didn't even think that there were a lot of women that would want to get into this type of thing. So I was quite intrigued when I found that sort of thing. So we're going to share, again, it's Share Saturday, people. Even with internet difficulties, we push on.
Yes, we do.
Share Saturday.
And you know what? Before I forget, the one thing that you said you didn't think that women would get into that type of a lifestyle, or those are criminal industries, etc. But just from from the beginning of time, let me just put it that way. And two things. I think it's a matter of opportunity.
Right.
At times may not be there. And I think it's actually happened for ages because you see things where the mother of the king or the mother of the queen or the queen herself, there have been some bad women through history that were vicious.
Oh, yeah, but you see, I don't know, maybe we just, because we are called the fairer and gentler sex, right? So you just assume that we ain't going to, I'm going to say it, we can do bad all by ourselves when we feel the need. Don't get it twisted now. If you mess with a woman's children or whatever, you're going to know about it. But it's just something that I never thought that, as a rule, if you like, that we would want to become known for that. Because you have to be particularly ruthless on a regular, because that business is so cutthroat, literally. Mm-hmm. And you just think, it's just not something that I thought that as many women as I have found in this list would get into. But the thing, I hadn't heard of half of them on the list. So I was really intrigued. So I was like, wow. And that's what they're calling them, female crime lords. So they are literally the top honcho, head honcho, the queen bee. Nothing gets done without her say so, in the same way that it would be for a man. So she is the boss, so you don't mess with her. And if she says no, and you try and do it anyway, you are going to feel the pain of her wrath, as it were, kind of thing. And I just thought, wow, because it obviously is in that sense, equal opportunities. But wow, I just was surprised.
and that's something where, like I have mentioned, I believe that women, from a mental aspect, just as intelligent as men.
Oh, absolutely.
And that being the case, women just as intelligent as men, they can be just as ambitious.
Oh, yeah.
And even though I have the same type of belief that women were brought onto this space to be the fairer and gentler and to basically, they're the only way we can continue to have a race of people, because they're the only people that can go through and bear children. So from that, as a bottom line, it's like men wouldn't exist without women. So let's start with that. as a premise, but because they are just as intelligent as men, they may not be brought up to be as ambitious. Some of them are brought up to be just as ruthless and as ambitious as anybody.
Absolutely, but I was surprised that because there were so many that seemed to be hidden almost that I didn't hear about, because you normally, if anything, you just assume if anyone's going to do that, it's just going to be more men. And it is more men as a rule, isn't it?
Right.
But I just thought, oh my God, the fact that there were so many, the fact that they compiled a list, people, as I said, share Saturday, go on to Ask Avani Show on Twitter page and on Facebook. We are posting these links for you to see, because I know people are thinking, where's she getting all this listing and information from? Trust me, in the course of research for the show, these are some of the things I found, and I'm like,
It's real. This is true. We're not making this stuff up.
Yeah, we don't make things up on here. I try and do my research and think, wow, because a lot of them, I was like, where are these women? A lot of them seem to be sort of like, those Bolivia and those type, Colombia, those type of countries, and you just think, wow, and these are people that they just kept themselves to themselves, but they were running the show. And they were making, forget the, millions. They were making billions. And speaking of billions, okay, this next person, he is in today's show, link free, K-Rose. Mm-hmm. He is in today's show for being a crime lord. And I must say, at the height of his power, apparently he had so much money they couldn't even count it. At the height of his power, he had an estimated fortune of around $30 billion US. This man had so much money, right, that he didn't, back then, he didn't have a place to put it. He would put it in houses. He would build a house and literally fill it with money.
Money in the walls.
But no, forget the walls. The house was money.
Oh, I know, but I mean, he would stack it in it, but they would also put money in the walls of houses.
Yeah. His whole house would just be stacked from floor to ceiling full of money. And I'm thinking, because he just had so much that he did. Wow. Now, this guy, if you haven't heard of him, now I hadn't heard of him, and I'll tell you a little short story about how I had heard of him after. His name is Pablo Escobar. He's probably one of the most notorious crime lords, drug kings, if you like, of the last century. And I was just thinking, because this man, right, and even now, like 20 years after his death, because it's an anniversary of his death, Pablo Escobar, right, there's going to be apparently a new TV series and a film about the Colombian king, drugs kingpin known as, but he had other names as well, so we're just going to call him by his name, Pablo Escobar, but they called him, El Patron, all sorts of things. And apparently all his, townspeople and that, they loved him because he used to give back. He used to give out money, and he was into charitable causes and all this type of thing. But this man did not play. Let's just put it like that. So again, share Saturday, Ask Avani Show. We're sharing it for you to see, just in case you're probably thinking, who is this Pablo Escobar? Because for the younger viewers, they may not have heard of him. Trust me, I'll tell you how I first learned about him. And you're going to laugh, K-Rose. Years ago, I had a boyfriend. And let's just say he liked to get on the other side of the law, which was not fun.
He dabbled in the
He dabbled. Trust me, he wanted to be like this guy. That's how I heard about him, because he wanted to be like him. Not in drug dealing, let me be clear. He didn't want to deal drugs, but he wanted to have a lot of money.
He wanted to have the lifestyle, which is the topic of the show.
Exactly. He wanted to live that lifestyle. And suffice to say, it has led him repeatedly to stay at HMP, or otherwise known as, for those in America who don't understand, Her Majesty's Pleasure. That's what we call it over here. He's on a vacation, as you say, Gareth.
Yeah, I call it vacation. Other people call it the big house. Other people call it, other things. But let's just say what it is. It led him to be incarcerated against his will. Okay.
Again, listen, you know how some people are stupid? Look here, why are you being on repeat with the same thing? You know what they say? What is it, the saying? Why do you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome?
Well, that's the definition of insanity, basically. That's what they call it.
This is what he was on. I'm like, okay, the first time you may feel some sympathy for someone, they did something stupid, they got caught, maybe. But when he keeps going back for the same thing, okay, now I ain't got no sympathy for you no more, because you need to change your mindset, and you need to change your ways. Come on now, that's obviously don't work for you, innit?
Well, but that's the whole problem with going after a lifestyle and going after things and not thinking about the consequences is there's just one or two things about it. Either you really don't care what the consequences are and you're going to live for the moment, which is more than likely what it is, or you've gone so deeply into the muck you can't really see yourself turning around because because now people know you're in the muck. And they're like, I can't be associated with K. Rose. He's too deep in. I might get, associated and killed because of association.
This is the problem. But it's like some people, they just can't. They're addicted.
Right.
See, we're going to talk about this. They're addicted literally to not just the life, as it were, but to the thrill of committing whatever crime it is that gives them the life. Because to me, if someone said to me, obviously, I'm going to say this, I'm sure a lot of us, we would like to have, a lot of money or whatever to be able to live comfortably so that we don't have to ever worry about that. But I'm not being funny. The way how you get the money, this is why I always say, do not be red eye, as I put it, jealous about what someone else has got. Because for number one, you don't know what they've had to do to get what they've got. And believe me, you definitely do not know what they may be having to do to keep it.
Right.
So don't be looking at them thinking, oh yeah, they got the latest car, they got nice house, they got houses around the world, they take however many holidays a year. No, think about it. Remember, until you walk a mile in someone else's shoes, you don't know what they feel they have to do to get that. Because at the end of the day, yeah, they're making money, but what do they have to do to get it?
Well, you have to, but that's part of, my opinion, part of knowing yourself. And, you know your warts and you know your problems and you know your issues and accept them, first of all. Don't ignore them. But know yourself, and then it'll make it a lot easier for you to accept your own existence, okay?
But see, I don't understand why people get so excited about, okay, money. Yeah, I mean, obviously I understand it because it affords you comfortable lifestyle and you can be, happy in a material sense. Again, stress it, material sense. Because just recently I saw on the news, there was this billionaire, apparently he did the game, I think it's Minecraft, that video game. So he has made billions, right? But this man was complaining on Twitter that he's unhappy because he ain't got no one to share it with and all this. And I'm thinking, well, no, see, you must have some friends or something. But at the same time, if you're unhappy, you're going to be unhappy. It doesn't matter how much money you got. And if you're okay and you're happy, you're going to be okay. Obviously, the money side will help your material life. Fantastic. Because you know what they say, if you can cry in a mansion, then obviously you ain't going to want to cry on the back of a bike. This, but you still be crying.
Okay. Say that again, okay.
You see, like when they say if someone's miserable, they're just miserable, and it doesn't matter what their financial state is.
Now that part I get, but the crying in the mansion thing, say that again, because
you see, why cry? If you're rich, right, and you're crying, it doesn't matter whether you're on the back of a bike crying or whether you're in a mansion crying. Okay. You're still crying, innit?
That's where I thought we were going with that. But I was like, I'm in the mansion crying, but now I'm not crying on the back of a bike. Okay. All right, I'm good now. Okay.
You see? So if you're miserable, is the point I'm making. You're going to be miserable. And the money ain't really going to change that because you can spend all your money and be back to square one. And, okay, what have you got to show for it? Obviously, you'll have all those material things. But if within you are unhappy, that's just going to be what it is, isn't it?
Right. You're going to continue to be unhappy. And your status in life doesn't change that monetarily. It really doesn't.
It may, like I said, you can be very comfortable when you're crying your eyes out in your silk sheets. Right. But you still be crying.
You're going to be comfortable and miserable, okay?
Yes,
or you're going to be super rich and miserable.
That's it. And he was complaining, and then he suddenly realized, you know what? People don't really want to hear me moaning that I'm miserable because obviously I'm a multi-billionaire, and they probably think, what's this man got to moan about? Because they showed pictures, little pictures of his house and the lifestyle that he can afford to lead now. So I'm not being funny, but I thought, okay, I can see that he's rich materially. But there's obviously a lot of things lacking. That's why he's so miserable emotionally. Well,
and those people that are looking for the life and they're constantly going to the life and trying to attain the life, if you don't have people around you to share it with, that's a bad thing. But